everybody, Small Business Stacey here with Digital Dave, and today we're talking about how to do niche marketing. Hi, I'm Small Business Stacey.
I'm Digital Dave.
Where marketing
meets technology.
This is really what everyone wants to know. How can I find riches and niches? How can I be a big fish in a small pond? So Digital Dave, we're going to give them some theory and some strategy, but we're also going to share some examples.
It should be fun.
All right?
Okay.
Great. Let's start with how you do niche marketing in regard to some of the research that you're going to have to do. Because you really want to get to know down to a very specific one-on-one level who you're talking to. Because right now, most businesses are very broad. So, Dave, how could a small business owner start doing some research to hone in on what may be a good niche for them?
Okay, great question. In our coffee and smoothie business, back in the day, we had multiple lines of revenue. And one of the ways you can easily niche your business is the 80-20 rule. Figure out where you're most profitable in your business, right? So, we had a lot of revenue coming in, and, we would look at the books and we'd see this tiny little percentage of profit after everything. And so what we did was that we decided, hey, we're killing ourselves there. We're working ourselves to death. We looked at our business and we found a part of our business that the percentage of profit was much, much greater for the amount of revenue than the other parts of our business. This was catering, right? So, this is where you can start your niching at is, where can I find the gold? Where can I find the pot of gold? And from there, as we've talked about in previous episodes, we looked into, okay, well, catering is still a big, broad market. It's a big market, catering. What can we do specifically to break that down even into smaller pieces, to find niches? What you're looking to do when you're trying to find niches is that really two things. One is that you want to find a niche that one is either profitable. It could be three things. We'll call it two. It's profitable or it's following some kind of a trend. You're riding a wave, right? You don't want to be the one swimming against the current. You want to be the one that's just sitting there on the surfboard letting the wave take you. All right. So that's number one. And another way to find niches, within your product or services is to look for issues. All right. Mm-hmm. Issues. Where people, they're asking for people to help them, right? Mm-hmm. And you need to find out those things.
Right. So that's a great example. Let me share with you an example of a company that figured that out and how to do their niche. Because this company sells toys. And you may be thinking, oh, well, everybody sells toys, right? You just throw up a website and sell some toys, right? Well, this company realized that, one, parents don't want this cheap stuff coming from overseas. And if you watch the news, every single day there's a recall and kids are choking and these toys are very hazardous. So this company realized that there was an issue, a need, as you alluded to, for parents who are willing to pay a premium price for something that has craftsmanship, that's handmade, that is not going to have these safety issues. And this company, mind you, did not have some big fancy e-commerce site. They had a very basic online store that actually only took PayPal. Okay. So when you think like, oh, well, if I'm getting so specific, I have to spend all this money to do a lot of things, you really don't.
It's actually kind of quite the opposite.
Right.
So what this company, did is exactly what I said. They looked at their customers and they said, okay, we know our customers are parents, right? We probably know that our customers are parents with kids of certain ages, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the easy ones, right? And that's what a lot of people would follow. They would stop right there. Well, then they went and they said, okay, what are the issues with toys today, right? Well, there's two. as far as I can tell. And the first one is, the quality of the toys obviously today doesn't seem to be nearly the quality of toys were, in the past.
Right.
Just my opinion.
Right.
And number two is that safety was a huge concern. When you hear about all these recalls and stuff, right?
I know, right?
So it was easy for them then to take their niches and deliver their message.
Right.
And they didn't have to spend a lot of money to do it. It actually came to them.
Right. So that's an example of a product-based business. I have another example of like a service-based business. I have a client who's a realtor who was selling real estate up in the Boston area. And she came to me because she just felt like her marketing wasn't working. She was just so focused on volume, volume, volume. I got to sell, 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 and be the #1 agent. And she was exhausting herself.
I can understand that.
So we started looking at where her profitability was coming from and what she was really great at. Who could she serve the best?
Right.
And when I started asking these questions, we realized that the majority of her profitability was in 2 specific zip codes. And she was like the top person that people went to when they wanted a condominium with walkability. Because up in the Boston area, parking is at a premium. And people they want to be able to walk to everything, to a restaurant, to transportation, to wherever, walkability.
Yeah, I thought the walkability was the condo was going to walk.
Maybe.
No, I get it.
So as I started talking to her more, these words came out of what the issues that people wanted. Walkability, like you said, not the condo walking, but that they could walk to and from where they wanted to go. So by helping her focus in on the niche, we were able to get really specific in the marketing of who we were talking to, the messaging, and the media, because then we knew exactly where those people were hanging out. We weren't wasting money on Facebook ads and Google ads and just throwing money everywhere because we were getting so specific. And she loved her business again. She wasn't working 14 or 16 hours a day. She became a concierge realtor.
Right. Well, think about that. Think about what Stacey just said. The niche here, and again, you want to know how, right?
Right.
So the niche was obviously the first thing that you would look at is the demographic for those who buy condos, right? Probably first-time home buyers in a lot of cases, maybe, right?
Right.
Probably younger since they're the first-time home buyer. So again, you're finding out this is the who, all right? And then you're adding on the slices, okay? You're saying, okay, I'm not going to just sell condos, right?
Right, because that's a niche, but we want a niche in a niche.
Right, we want to even go further than that. We want to go deeper into that niche. So you could look at things like, and Stacey didn't mention this, but it's easy to go into other areas, is maybe you only would market to or market 3-bedroom 2-bath condos, right? That can even be a smaller niche within that, because probably the people buying that have a slightly different need than somebody buying a 1 or a 2-bedroom. They may have kids,
exactly,
right? They want the extra space. They need the extra bathroom, right?
Right.
All right. The walkability is huge. that's saying that I only want people, they don't have a car. They don't want a car. Maybe they just decided they want to be an urbanite and ditch the car and have everything within walking distance to where they live. So you can even take your demographic information and break that down more within your product itself into smaller niches. And so in this particular case, this client is working less hard. She's got that fence out there around her people. She's got a herd. That herd is not huge. And when she delivers her message, it's very, 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 specific to who that message is going to go to. And her response rate is much, much better than trying to do it at a much bigger level.
Right. Because now she is the go-to person. Somebody looking for that specific condo in that specific zip code, she is the person.
So there's another perfect example of how you can look at a business and break it down into niches.
Great. So we've shared some examples, Dave. And so the small business owners out there are saying, okay, I'm looking at my business. I see a lot of opportunity, but I'm not quite sure maybe what some of the needs and challenges of who I'm serving may be. So how could they do some research? Are there tools out there that these small business owners can use?
That's an absolutely fantastic question. My favorite one, by the way. We talked about the two ways that you can, kind of do some research in the beginning. So I'm going to expand. The first one is look at your own business, but we'll call that, look at your own business and look at the trends within your business's industry, right? So you would want to maybe first look at something like Google Trends, right? Which is a free online tool. I think it's Google
Trends.google.com.
Trends.google.com. They change these things all the time. And you can go in there and you can type anything. You could type, 2 or 3 bedroom apartments in Boston in there, and it will actually give you a projection of the number of searches that have occurred over time in that particular keyword in that area. So what you're looking for, obviously, is a graph that's got an uptrend to it. Right. We want to ride that uptrend. That's the whole idea, is that you want to ride that wave. So one way to look at niches is to go on Google Trends in your industry, pop in a bunch of what you call niche keywords, products, things like that, and try to find within that industry maybe some areas where things are uptrending rather than downtrending. So again, let's look at real estate in 2 seconds quickly. And I don't know much about the real estate industry these days, but let's just say I search single family homes. And all of a sudden I'm seeing a flat line or a downtrend, right? Okay, well, that tells me that, maybe if I'm going to pick a niche to sell real estate in, that one may not be the one right now I want to go into, right? And then I go in and I search, 3-bedroom condos with walkability, and it's pointing straight up, right? That's easy. So that you found a very, very specific trend within your industry or even within your product or service, right? So that's one way. Now, another way we talked about, which is the second way, is to look for issues within your particular product or service. And when people have issues, they're looking for solutions, right? It's that simple. And what your objective is to deliver the solutions, right? You're gonna put those solutions out there. And so, and in the services business, I don't have any examples right off the top of my head, but in the product business, one of the things that you can use very easily to find issues is Amazon.
Yeah, right. A small website called Amazon.
A small little Amazon. But one of the things they do is they collect reviews for their products, right? So if you sell a product that is on Amazon, which if you sell one that's not on Amazon, you're lucky, or there's no competitor on Amazon, I should say. But in those reviews, you can look for reviews that are, what? Bad. Right? Not good. Not the good reviews, because if they're good, they don't have a problem, right?
That's right.
Right. So you want to look at the 1- and 2-star reviews within those products that are in the niche that you're looking at, and you can very clearly and quickly figure out where some issues are. So in looking in the reviews, it's easy to spot issues, right? So one of the things I ran across the other day was I was looking at Hawaiian shirts and I was looking at bad reviews. And one of the reviews said, this shirt was terrible. I put it in the wash the first time and the colors bled together.
There's a problem.
There's a problem right there, right?
That perhaps somebody could fix.
Right. So one of the things you can do is market to that problem. You could market saying that, my shirts are washable hundreds of times without the colors bleeding together. You solved the problem for them. So very easily within your market and within your product, you can address and find the issues by doing some simple research, say, for instance, on Amazon. Now, for services, it's a little different. So, Stacey, do you have some ideas on services of where they can go do some research?
Right. So, Amazon is good for product-based, product-based businesses. But if you're a service-based business, some sites that you can do your research on would include Yelp. A lot of service-based businesses are on Yelp, or Angie's List, or contractors are on HomeLight. There's all these different service-based review sites out there.
Right. Exactly.
And again, not looking for the 5-star reviews because somebody's already meeting those needs. It's the 1- and 2-star reviews that sort of say, this group of people are not happy. And, if you're able to provide a solution, wow.
Right. So like an example would be long lines at restaurants, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm just guessing here. I went there, I waited an hour and 15 minutes to get in. They're probably not going to give a great review, right? They're going to give a not so good review. And what you want to do is find that repeatedly within the reviews from different restaurants.
Right.
And then your message, your niche becomes, hey, we're the restaurant with less than a 10-minute wait, right?
Right.
You've addressed the niche, a problem. Now, that's a good problem to have sometimes, to have a waiting list. But people aren't going to probably want to wait an hour and 25 minutes to get in, right? So this is a good way to take an issue and make it your niche.
Right. Okay, so we've laid the groundwork for some ways that small business owners can do some research, either looking in at their own business and honing in on that 80-20, where's your revenue, but more importantly, the profitability. And you'll probably find a niche within there. And you can use the tools that Dave referenced to do some research, or you can just go out and create your own niche. You may find that there's opportunities out there. Now, what a lot of small business owners do is they start with the product or the service. I do this, I sell toys, or I fix sinks and plumbing. And then they try and find a niche. I have this, who wants to buy it? Where it really should be the opposite. It should be finding the niche, who has a problem that I can solve, right?
It's that simple.
Right. So that's actually what we did in our coffee smoothie business. We were working with companies of 50 more employees who wanted to do staff appreciation. And we would go in and do our smoothie catering, okay? But then we had the niche. They came back to us and said, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do coffee catering for us? Can you do hot chocolate? We want to do something else. And it gave us a year-round revenue stream that we didn't have before because we listened. So it's another way of how to do niche marketing.
Yeah, listening to your customers is always very important. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they'll even tell you a niche. I think that's what Stacey's saying here is in our coffee and smoothie business. Once we had a herd around the people, around our tribe, for lack of a better term, right? They came back to us and they're like, we want to use you. We know, we trust you. You show up, your people are responsible, they're on time. All these things play into that. They were telling us some other things that we should be doing, right? And so we investigated those, and some of those we found to be very, very good ideas and niches, such as offering hot chocolate catering in the wintertime, right?
Right, exactly.
To supplement our smoothie business, which is more of a seasonal summertime business. So again, listening to your customers on an ongoing basis is another great way to find of how you can find niches, riches and niches within your own business.
Right. So getting a little bit deeper into the how, we're really focusing on the who, right? You're figuring out the specific person that you want to talk to. I call it the customer avatar. And you should know that person in depth. They should have a name. You should have a picture of them in front of you. You should know those issues, their pain points, what they like, what they don't like. Because when you get this right, you are having a one-on-one conversation with them. You will know what to say and where to say it. So we have a tool that we use, a customer avatar worksheet, that will help you work through this, what questions to ask. And let me give an example before I tell you where you can get this. I had another client who worked with dentists, and they came to me because they were like, I'm doing all this marketing, but I'm not really seeing any results. So again, when I started diving deeper, they were sending the same message to everybody, but they had in all of their database, when I started digging deeper, they had people as young as people just coming out of dental school starting their practice, and yet people who were on the way out looking to retire. And this dental business, they were actually teaching dentists how to invest in real estate. So somebody just coming out of school, building up a practice, is in a much different place and may or may not be interested in investing in real estate versus somebody who is looking to sell their practice and what am I going to do with the rest of my life?
Right, exactly.
So we actually realized that there were 6 different avatars within their database. And so we got very specific with this customer avatar worksheet of what their needs were, who that person was, where did they live, what were their needs, what kind of words could we use that would resonate with them. And now we're having one-on-one conversations, and as you might imagine, their marketing is working, right?
And it is that simple. It is literally that simple. You really need to, address and create a roadmap. And we've done this multiple times where, you work through this worksheet all the way down to the point of, how you're going to get to these people, right? Like what types of marketing you're going to be able to find these people on and actually reach to them.
Right.
With a message, right? That is very specific to their issue. Right. So that, and I think that's what Stacey's saying of why this works so well for this dentist.
Right. So we want to give you this worksheet for free. You can download it by going to smallbizmarketingspecialist.com/show18. And you just download it and walk through creating your avatar so you can have that one-on-one conversation.
Sounds good.
Great. Anything else you want to add, Dave, about how to do?
No, we've given them everything.
Okay.
I should say that. There's way more to it. We've given you what we can.
We've given you the stepping stones of how to do niche marketing. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, we would be truly grateful if you would leave us a review and or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Anything else you want to add in regard to that?
That's all for this episode.
All right. So go out there, find some riches and niches, be a big fish in a small pond, and love your business again. Signing off here, Small Business Stacey and Digital Dave. See you next time.
This podcast was brought to you by Small Business Stacey, the small biz marketing specialist. Want to grow your business more in the next 30 days than you have in the past 3 months? Get your free marketing plan at smallbizmarketingspecialist.com. That's small, B-I-Z, marketingspecialist.com.